Look at that amazing sky. We actually got a little bit of thunderstorms earlier, but it's dry, so that's what matters. We can still ride. Okay, so this is kind of a special edition because I wanted to go over some of my notes. I posted something earlier today asking for some feedback and some ideas for videos, and I so appreciate this community because people have great ideas and they're so inspiring for me, and I'm excited to try to fulfill the request the best I can. So I kind of made some notes here. Ray wants to see mega spins, and I'm with you, Ray. You were saying how you can do like a 540 and that's about it. And I've been working with my buddy Justin on them. We've done a few sessions with him, and I'm starting to see a little bit of progression. But I will, because of this note, I will focus a little bit more on mega spin. I think it's a good trick to do, especially kind of a flashy show trick. So more to come, but give me a bit of time because I do want to be able to do more than a 540 because that's about where I'm at, and then do a little video on mega spins. Korn had said to do something that's like an intro to freestyle flatland and just talk a little bit about the parts and why we ride certain parts and pegs and like all the things. I think that would be great for especially like maybe parents that their kid is asking about it and they want to know more about how to set up the bike with gyros and brakes and pegs. I do recommend starting with brakes, but not everyone does. But that's kind of where I come from. David said to that he would love to see something incorporating brakeless with brakes. So I do have a brakeless bike. I don't do a whole lot of tricks on it. It's like a whole nother animal for me, but I think that's a great idea to try to merge the two. Where I mean, when I talked to Kevin Jones about brakes, he's like, "Well, if I don't want to use if I want to do something brakeless, I just don't use my brake." And so I don't think Kevin will ever take his brakes off because he does stuff brakeless or he does it with brakes. Doesn't really matter to him. But David, I think that's a great idea to have some crossover between the two. Now, Joshua, I love what Joshua had because this is right up my alley. He would love to see like a curb endo to roll back to like back hops and then front hops. So this is like 1983, 84 routines, and why not? Let's bring back some of those old basic tricks. So I'll work on that, Joshua, and do an edit here in the next few days. This is like my list of tricks for the week. Some of them I'm going to actually ask for help, and some of them I'm just going to do myself. Aaron would love to see a cherry picker and a Vanderroel. Now, recently you've done these, but I'm happy to do them again, especially if people are requesting them. So maybe I'll just try to think of a new variation or do it in a different setting, or maybe do it with somebody and try to teach them how to do a Vanderroel or a cherry picker. So thanks for the idea, Aaron. I will come up with something around that. Chris, oh, this is a great note from Chris. So Chris wants to see Josh White come out and do some flatland before he moves to Thailand. Now, apparently, this is what Chris is sharing. I have not heard this, but apparently Josh White is moving to Thailand May 22nd. And Chris would love to see him do some flatland before he leaves. So, I'm not making any promises, but I'll see what I can come up with. I'll ask Josh. I don't talk to Josh that often, but he is in the same town, so I'll see if he's open to do a little flatland. I know he's still recovering from a shoulder injury that he did weightlifting, and he's kind of been a little hesitant to get on the bike, especially ramp riding, but maybe flatland, who knows. Now, Greg would love to see some lawnmowers, which we have done. I have done recently, but he was saying just the different variations on lawnmowers, which is fun, and I'll do something around that. And then Rich chimed in on that comment and said also how lawnmowers led to other tricks like undertakers and mega trick, which is where you flip it upside down, and then just various different tricks that then you see now in current riding, like undertakers, and rolling stubble duck. That was in the X Games. I mean, it's crazy to see 40 years later that you can kind of trace the roots back to that original. Seppi Mayes was the one that did the stubble duck originally. I've been doing them more recently, so some people think I made up the stubble duck, but I didn't. It was actually Seppi. But I like the trick so much that I wanted to incorporate it in my run. Donald said to do cherry bombs, and I love the fact that someone put out their cherry bombs. Like that's such a classic 80s trick for me. It's a backwards pedal picker into upside down. That was the cherry bomb part. And then I would pull it back into cherry picker or just flip it back into, flip the bike back around. So that one I'm going to work on today, Donald. I'm not super consistent on it, but I'm gonna work on an edit today and hopefully get that for you. So that was a great suggestion, and thank you for that. Um, Carter is asking for hitchhikers and hitchhikers juggling, which is not in my wheelhouse at this moment. I can get into a hitchhiker. That's it. I've never actually got in and out of a hitchhiker. So I might bring someone else in to help with that one because I think that's an important trick. I actually asked some riders about the first 7 tricks that you think a flatlander should learn, and Dub came back with a whole list of tricks, and his 7th trick, like in order of how difficult they are, that the 7th trick for a beginner could be a hitchhiker. So that's a great suggestion, Carter. Aaron would like to see Miami hoppers, and I just did a Miami hopper wedge, the handstand Miami hopper, but I'll do some Miami hopper, maybe some variations. Um, and then, oh, William, he's always got some really good ones. So William, thank you for this. William wants me to either do, I don't know, yeah, either do or talk about tricks that I haven't done in a while. And I'll do my best to bring them back, but I have to say, there's a couple on my list. One is backwards walk around. I haven't done it for 4 years. 2019 was the last time I pulled one. And not that I'm scared of them, I'm a little bit reluctant. So, but I would love to bring those back. So backwards walk around. Another one was that I really want to do. What was it? Backwards walk around, rolling handstands, like really getting up vertical and doing a rolling handstand. I've worked on those a little bit. And what else? Oh, there was something else that I was thinking of, but I'll come back to that. So I will work on that, William. Some of those tricks that I haven't done in a while that I'd like to bring back. And then he also suggested some stories, and I have an idea. I'll do this tonight about a story about a tour that I did just on my own with myself and my wife, and I think that's a fun little story. So I'll start to incorporate some of that. And then Michael wanted to do front yard and backyard. And just for clarification, I did misquote the trick of front yard where I was doing a freak squeak. Freak squeak is where your foot's over and you're scuffing like that. When a front yard is actually, I think your bars are straight or backwards, but you're in the front of the bike, hence the front yard. Both those tricks are not super solid for me. Backyards, I don't really have a good way of coming in and out, but that's a good challenge. I'll work on that, see what I can come up with. And then I have another note from Rich, because Rich was chiming in about doing undertakers, and he's the king of undertakers. I've seen him do it on a 24-inch. So I'm going to see if he wants to do, I've already asked him, I just haven't actually pulled it off, do a video call with me, and maybe he can show me, because I want to bring undertakers. That's the other trick. Yeah, undertakers. Backwards walk arounds and undertakers and rolling handstand. And I think Rich might be able to help me to relearn the undertakers. Travis would like to see a video on just overall bike control. And I think in his notes, he was saying like hand position, why we stand this way, how we switch, just different, very subtle um, positions and techniques that you have that can help a lot that you don't always catch when you're just watching a video. So that's a great idea, and I'll have to think about that to really make sure that I have some good content for that video. Crazy Dan would love to see a video on the first trick that I learned, and breaking it down specifically, and that's a rock walk, and I've done a video on that, but I'm happy to do another one. Jason would like to see a grasshopper to decade. And I'm pretty sure my definition of a grasshopper is you hop. So you hop to the front wheel, and then do a decade. I can't say I've ever done that. And it's really hard for me to do the hop. I can roll, which is what I call cricket on the front wheel, but it's a good suggestion and I'll give it a go. He also said surfer, frame stand to surfer to scurfer, which is a pretty tough combination. I don't know if that's up my alley, but I'll find someone that maybe can help me with that. And did I skip anyone? Oh yeah, somehow I got it mixed up. So Aaron wants to see Cherry Picker and Vanderroel. I already mentioned that. So I think I got everybody. If I missed your comment, or maybe there's more since I wrote these ones down, just send me a message and I'll see what I can do to incorporate that. Thank you so much for the suggestions and the feedback, and I'll do my best to come up with some good content for you. Have a great night.